Hey, what's up there? It's me again, the Stoner Jesus. How's everybody doing tonight? I decided to make a video about, well, YouTube, but not YouTube as a platform, but rather the things I've discovered about people using YouTube. As the title may suggest, what I've learned on YouTube, but it's not about what I've learned watching YouTube, though that has been a huge part of it, of course. If you're a YouTuber, if you want to use that term, you have been through quite a bit if you've been here from the beginning. I started making videos around 2011, and so 12 years, I've watched a lot go down. It was everything from Jew hating in the beginning and a bunch of conspiracy rants to moving to, I'm not going to go through the phases many of you have already experienced. We've got the dance crazes, and then we've got the, you know, the pranks phase, and today it's kind of a mixture of all the garbage that we basically tried to ignore on YouTube. It's become predominant. It's become nothing but ads. Everything has. Social media is dead, as some have said. It really is. It's been killed by advertisers. But that's another story because YouTube is unique in this category of social media. It's not a place where you just post some rant. It's a place where you post a rant where you're looking at the damn camera. You at least have to speak and have some sort of a coherence to make something. This is why when TikTokers come to YouTube, they totally suck and their videos are horrible because they're used to this short format crap where they don't have to really think. You can just do somebody else's dance or do a prank and all of a sudden you're famous. So, not to be crusty and definitely not bitter. I don't want to be famous. I was thinking about this today at work. I was like, man, it would really suck to walk down the street and just have people like, "Oh, you're so and so, you're so and so." It's like, God, that would be just embarrassing. I wouldn't personally like it, but a lot of people would. They want to be famous. They would like that. I have had like two of my subscribers run into me. One guy twice, so three times total. One guy once and the other guy twice. Once like 50 miles apart. Once out in like eastern, or southern Washington, out by the gorge, and another time at like the county fair up here. I was like, he's like, "Oh, Carpo again." It was just weird. I haven't seen anybody that knows me since, so that's good because it's weird. But if you ever see me, of course, say hi. Do say hi because it's always fun to meet a subscriber. But that's a rare chance. But what I've learned on YouTube watching other people, a lot of these channels that you know basically blew up because they were willing to talk about shitty topics that nobody else wanted to. And whether that's political or it's just something aimed at kids, because kids are a huge subscriber of YouTube. But to move on here, the things I've learned have mostly been about myself. My reaction to comments early on YouTube was pretty incendiary. Let's just say that if somebody came and tried to call me out on something I posted, I would take it pretty harsh. I built this guy that we argued back and forth for like a year. And there was a whole little clique going on there, like four or five people. And three or four of us were sharing videos about occult knowledge. I was reading a lot of Manly P. Hall, doing a lot of research on Buddhism, Hinduism, spirituality, if you will, and trying to kind of find myself at that point, and ended up with talking with all these other people on YouTube that since have not survived the many waves of YouTube, uh, perhaps by their own choice, but I haven't seen them in a long time. The Purge, if you will, the Great Purge, which I had my channel shut down for a little while because I had kratom videos, but eventually they reinstated it for some reason. And I've managed to keep my channel. That's another thing I've learned. Just don't be a dick. Don't talk about shit that you know will get your channel banned. It it sucks. You have to self-censor to an extent. Like I say, there's certain things I say I won't talk about here because I can't talk about even this situation that happened a couple of years ago where everything was shut down, where there, people had a respiratory illness. Uh, you can't even use those terms or your shit gets buried. It's crazy how that works. But it's okay to say shit, you know? You just can't talk about that shit. It's really weird what's considered taboo now. Coincidentally, I was gonna talk about make a video about men, earlier because it was funny. There's a channel I watch once in a while called Moon, and his shit's kind of gone downhill, and it's a little, usually trying. It's rage bait, not rage bait, but tries to talk about something controversial, to get you to want to click. And a lot of these channels like that have really gotten pretty bad. Like the stories they tell and the bullshit they spew is pretty nonsense. It's like they've gone down the conservative rabbit hole instead of staying neutral, truly neutral. They don't want to piss off a certain part of the audience, and it's either liberal or conservative, it seems. And it's annoying. But some of them are fairly balanced from all these people, and this one was pretty good. And it was about men. It said, have men become weak? And that video almost instantly was age restricted. And he posted something about it. And I'd noticed because I couldn't watch it until I signed in from like my phone account. And I was like, I watched the whole thing. I said, okay, this is about men becoming too passive and weak. Why is this age restricted? The next morning, I got up, watched a video. It just came on without asking anything. And it was like one of those murder mysteries. And instantly they started in with like, husband kills his two children and his wife and his two dogs and 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 burns his house down. And I'm sitting there, this is 30 seconds in, right? It's like I wasn't actually going to watch the show. It just came on like autoplay or something. And I was like, so this is okay. But a guy talking about men being men isn't. And I know why. There really is an agenda to block certain types of content on YouTube, and there always has been. It's the reason that I'm still getting warnings or age restrictions on videos I made like 10 years ago. Um, it's really weird because they're usually neutral. Most of the ones that I've had like deleted or age restricted have to do with herbs. It's not even kratom or weed. It's like literally herbs like mucuna, prairians, or um, kana. There's a whole bunch of different herbs I was really into, and I started sharing it, and I was like, YouTube won't even let me talk about this. But the same thing happened with Cove. I almost said it. I was in a cove. I mean, a boat in a cove is what I was saying. Uh, it's there's no way to escape it. The algorithms these days and the AI that they're going to be introducing into the systems, it's going to be able to scout out and just remove anything. And I think it's important that we continue to voice how we feel. But that's on another topic. YouTube itself has taught me patience. It's taught me not to fight back just because somebody says something stupid and incendiary. But at the same time, I wanted to make sure I didn't forget this. Because I've had this debate with people over the years about trolls. I was like, trolls are just sad people. And somebody actually gave me a good argument for trolls. I don't recall what it was, but I've pondered it for the last 5 years and come to the conclusion that trolls are necessary to keep balance in the internet kingdom. If everything was just roses and rainbows, if there wasn't somebody cracking a good fucking job, the internet would be pretty boring. It's kind of like that one guy at work that tells totally outrageous and offensive jokes, but he just tells them to you, or she tells them to you, and you get it. Nobody means any harm. It's not really about hating anyone or, you know, judging anybody. It's just about having a good laugh. Um, a lot of that goes on, especially like I'm a carpenter, so in the construction world, people tell pretty foul jokes. I'm the kind of guy who's outspoken if, you know, people are really out of line on their shit, but generally just kind of like whatever. But if something's funny, it's funny. We don't know why things are funny. But anyway, um, there's a lot of taboo topics, uh, that aren't allowed to be talked about really beyond just pandemics and stuff, which I just said that word. So, religion, science, politics, intelligence level, even, that shit's like, it's kind of this elitist mentality some people have, but also others hate people who are smart. Um, there's the wealth and income gap, and people don't like talking about that. They don't like talking about death. They don't like it when you dismiss their gurus or teachers or leaders. Um, and dare you not talk anything about men and women, gender gaps, or differences, or sex, or race, or culture, or don't appropriate anything. Don't be a nationalist, but don't be a hater. Uh, don't have mental health issues because we can't handle that. It's kind of the world we live in right now. You know, I try to be serious when I make videos, but sometimes you just got to laugh at the stupidity of people. Um, it is weird thinking back to kind of the innocent days of the internet. I feel like a lot of kids are growing up dumb. People need to be street smart. And so get yourself educated as much as you can. Like, the internet's been a pacifier. I know I've got a 14-year-old son. I need to whip his ass, get him outside more. Um, and, it's hard because we have so many devices and distractions at our fingertips. But we owe it to ourselves to really try to get away from the social media bug. I hate to say that because, nobody wants to hear that they need to stop looking at the internet as often as they do. But I'm speaking to myself and everyone else. I've thought about having like a turn off the modem day at my house. Who would dare do that, right? But why not? Um, it's just I've become too. I'm kind of a survivalist mentality. So if the shit hits the fan, I got CB radios and ham radio, and I'm like ready for anything that happens, and I expect a disaster. But at the same time, I hope it doesn't happen. And there was a point to that, and I completely forgot it. What was I saying? Well, that happens. Brain fart. Can't cut that one out because, it'll just mean I'll have to do some editing and all that shit. But yeah, weird times we live in. I've also, you know, I'm working on my beer for the evening, so second. I think I covered pretty much everything I wanted to. I should stick to the main topic about YouTube. Like all old videos on YouTube, this will be uncut, uncensored, and just raw without a bunch of bullshit clickbait. No sponsors, no ads. When did that get completely lost on YouTube? How many channels do you watch that have no ads? And I thought about this because there are some channels I watch that have no ads, and YouTube doesn't put ads on them. So I'm like, that means every other person, of course, is monetizing. It wasn't always about that, but the minute it became that is when the ad companies moved in, like fucking the leeches they are, and ruined people because they just can't resist that sweet cash. They'll be sponsoring products they don't need, telling you to buy some bullshit crap that you don't need either. But ultimately, a sucker's born every minute, and if they can make money off of shit, I guess more power to them if that's what they want. But I just feel like people, you know, I'm being very cynical, but it's like that's how I feel. People have become very just. There's no honesty left in the world. It's very hard to find people who are just honest, good people. And maybe that's because I'm not looking in the right places. I'm not saying, you know, not to blame it on the younger generation, but I've seen some really disrespectful kids. So, I guess that probably is part of it. I don't know if the parents are to blame, but I'm going to guess they would be at the center of attention on that one. Because my kids don't treat people like some kids are treating people. So I don't know what's wrong with their parents or the parents of their parents, but we need to improve our society by cutting down on the bullshit that we allow our kids to believe on the internet. If your kids watch YouTube, that's fine. Just be careful about what they watch. Make sure that you know what they're watching and you explain it to them. I mean, it's not that hard, really. Kids aren't dumb, parents are dumb, and then kids are dumb. So, anyway, that's all I got. A rant about YouTube and being a YouTuber. It's weird. Just talk about shit, post it on the internet, end the video whenever you want and shit.